Northeast Cardiff. Thank you for coming on a Friday morning. I'm excited to the end of January. This month's theme is Journey, and there's over 200 creative mornings throughout the world, and we all share the same theme. And this month's theme is Journey, and it was chosen by our Muscat chapter in Oman, and illustrated with this beautiful illustration from Salim El Salami. And we have a little thought piece on Journey, which is, as we travel through life, everyone you meet is at a different point in their own unique journey. Some of us know where we're going, whilst other paths are full of twists, turns, and obstacles thrown in our way. The trick is to embrace the detours and delays, because there are no shortcuts on a journey to self-discovery and creative expression. And Jannat's going to be talking about how her journey gets there. But we wouldn't be able to host you without our sponsors, Adobe, who have paid for all your delicious breakfast and your coffee. So thank you very much to them. We're a team of volunteers, so nobody gets paid. We all do it out with passion and want to be able to bring this to you. So sponsors enable us to pay for coffees and pay for venues and bring you these talks. We're also looking for an additional sponsor. So if anyone works for a company that you think might be a good fit for us, or that you wanted to have us promote your stuff, you could sponsor for a one-off month or up to a whole year. We'd love to chat to you. The Sun Hallway. And we're really thankful for Longer to having us. It was such a beautiful venue, and I hope you've enjoyed a really delicious breakfast. And actually, Longer was set up by Izem and Sim, and by Kinan, who is one of our former speakers. And here she is speaking at Creative Mornings back in 2017, I think. And we have all of our past talks are available on our website. So here's Pinar's. And also we have Suzanne, who's here today. Both are excellent, so you can go watch them. Creative Mornings, all of the talks throughout the world are online, and it's the biggest repository of talks, second only to TED Talks. I could also highly recommend that Tina's talk was amazing, and Gareth Strange, who worked for the Aardman animations, they're fantastic. And now Sim from Longer is going to come give you a little quick chat about Longer and the journey to bringing it to life. And it's Stephen Dizem and Tina.
So Longer journey starts around 6 years ago in literature. It was just start with my comic action. I convinced my sister to join, and then she was doing marketing master here at that time. I love cooking, that's all, to be honest, I can say. I learned a lot after my mom gets sick, and I need to cook for our house. Then it become, it gave me more meaning. So cooking is not just only feeding people, also making them happy. And that happiness, when I see their faces, is just give a little feeling for me, just plus minus, and that's all. Then we started, we joined shows, cutting it together. It sounds very well, like people recognizing BBC, invite us to share our story, and just went very well. Then we decided to expand our business. I was always thinking to make also dinner dishes, because we charge only breakfast type of brunch type of cooks. Then large during our lives at that moment. So we said why don't we do it together? Because even only just a small cup, two of us is really hard reasons. It's incredibly hard. And then when Kumar joined us, we decided, okay, let's do it bigger. So we finally did this. I don't know, it's just we got so much help from everyone around us. We are so happy that happened. In the meantime, we also get another food production unit. All the bakeries this morning you ate, we prepare in the morning in our bakery freshly. So hopefully it's gonna go well more, and this is all I can say for now. Thank you for coming. for being here. You chase the entire energy. We've been very stressed. I mean, sharing it sound pretty simple. So thank you very much for creating this beautiful energy here. We really, really enjoy your presence. So enjoy. Thank you, mornings. Please support longer because it's tough to be independent, especially if city centres are competing against small chains. I've been to cafe for brunch, delicious, and here for dinner was amazing. They do their really traditional Turkish food with a modern Turkey twist. Fantastic and I'm great, so please come and bring your friends and family. Right, so that brings us on to, and it's Jannat's journey today. And she's going to talk about her journey setting up her creative writing magazine publishing company, Colon Research Reading. I first met Jannat when she came to Brabble Cohen Studio in 2018, and that was towards the start of her journey. And it's wonderful to see how she has grown from that, flourished and continued and since. The main thing I think when I think of Jannat is she's just a little ray of sunshine. She comes into the room and she just lights it up. So I can't wait to hear from her. Can you please welcome Jannat?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Borada. I feel like Borada, pal. This is just to set the scene for me personally. What Laurie said is true. My journey, how I start my journey, the story that I tell starts pretty much in 2018 because everything before that I've forgotten because trauma. But that was a turning point, and Creative Mornings was a huge help in that as well, because it showed me something that I hadn't experienced before, which is adults being nice to each other. And that was such a comforting space to be. And looking at, attending these Creative Mornings around Cardiff, I used to wake up early and attend them all, those are the days, 7 years ago. And I used to love it, not just for the breakfast, but that feeling of community, and also just seeing these people at the front and being you know what, I could do this. Maybe in 5 years, not now, but maybe in 5 years, I can do this. So, yes, I wanted to start with journey, that's the theme, and then destination. Because when I was planning this talk, which, I've been doing for however long, the only thing I thought was 500 thoughts. And one of them was, people always say it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And I was thinking about whether or not that's true for me. Because one of the things that I've arrived at over the last couple of years specifically is that you can't really appreciate the journey if you haven't really arrived somewhere. Whatever that looks like, both mentally and physically, it's hard to look back. So what's the other thing? No, actually, never mind. I wanted to start with a warm-up because I do be liking some workshopping things. And I've given you all a postcard, and Harry has set out pens as well. So I'd like you to take the postcard. The post-its are for later. And I'm going to say the questions and ask you to just write them down. And you don't need to share them with anyone. It's just for you to put away. Just have as a marker of where you are in your journey starting 2025. So, what was the highlight of last year? Who did you share that moment with, either during or after? What was the most difficult part of last year? Who helped you through? What do you want to let go of this year? Or what do you want to leave behind? Who can help you? What do you want to add to your life or stay connected to this year? Who do you want by your side? I know that's a lot of questions, so you're very welcome to just pick one or two, the ones that are easier. Just write down the little prompts or whatever for yourself later. But yeah, just a minute or so, maybe two, just for you to think about your highlights, think about your challenges, and what you're approaching this year with, what kind of energy. participating. Fine. Okay, so who am I? I wanted to do like, the traditional, talker thing where you put your little baby self. This is my little baby self, as 2 or 3 years old, wearing pink, the checkeredness. I was like, yeah, let's keep in vibe. And that's me in 2023, maybe? I should know this. In recent times. So as Laurie said, I'm Jannat, and I am the co-founder of Lucent Dreaming, which is an independent creative writing magazine and book publisher based in Cardiff. Our address is still technically Rabble, but I'm very much based in Barry. And yeah, I have always been like this, looking off into the distance. No, I've always been creative-minded, but this was never my plan. Doing Lucent Dreaming full-time was never what I thought my journey would be. So why do I do... Let's play this bit. So where was I going? So this is the thing about forgetting your childhood. Or like forgetting everything that happened before 2018. There are moments of time that other people or myself has participated in that actually was giving me a direction. I just never knew. So this is a email I sent to one of my friends in 2011 when I was 16. And I said, I want to be a publisher one day, which is very cute. And then when I was about 21 or so, I did this motivational course at Cardiff University, where we had to write down a personal professional goal with the express idea that you'd carry it around with you, and for a week you'd carry it around with you for a week, and the law of attraction, it would come to you. And I wrote, I want to become an entrepreneurial novelist, and I spelled novelist wrong, and I want to lecture in English literature. And it turns out I've kept to this path, although I didn't really know that was my path. It felt like a very vague, far away goal. So as Laurie mentioned, this part of my journey started in 2018 at Rabble. So this was one of the rooms in Rabble. I don't know if anyone, I think a few of you have been there before or work there now. And yeah, that was like the little insulation for me to get going with this idea that was initially just a creative writing magazine. But there I found, and I was connected to so many interesting people. And I think the thing that I touched on at the beginning, it was about the people, is the reason I got here. Because, for example, Dan selected me, along with some other people, for their internship scheme online. And he saw in me that I was going to do this, whether or not I had help. And, that kind of belief from someone outside set me up for my own successes and my future successes. And this is an excuse to remind myself how far I've come. It was only in the last couple of years, in 2023, that I was at Hay Festival as a speaker, which was incredible. This is me with a Hay rose, and I'm like, whoa. And this is me at Frankfurt Book Fair. Has anyone watched that film with Sandra Bullock, where they anyone remember that film? And it's all about going to Frankfurt Book Fair. She has to marry some guy. She has to marry some guy who's got brown hair. I don't even know who that actor is. But some guy. And it's all about that. And I just thought, what the flip is? And then we had our own shelf. But as you can see, all the copies are the same because we don't actually have enough books. So I'm just okay, well, I've got to fill the shelves. But there's me in front of that, and wow, having the time of my life. Of course, but no, actually, because rewind, it's a lie. Anxiety as a catalyst. So I want to talk a little bit about, a lot of it, about my mental ill health. I don't know if anyone has had their own journeys into that realm. Sam is looking at me. I'm thank you. No. And how that's affected what my journey has looked like. Because following your path is one thing, but doing it with resistance and with things getting in your way, or potentially being a catalyst for new directions. New directions is, you can't necessarily anticipate those things. So anxiety was the catalyst for me. So anyone who might have attended my Lucent Dreaming launches before will know that this has been like a crucial bit of myself, but my becoming. I got diagnosed with anxiety when I was doing my master's, and this was around the time of the Brexit vote and Trump and all of these things that made me feel like the world was very racist. And the only way that I could like prove my worth and value was to be academically excellent. And that pushed me to the edge, essentially, and I ended up in like lots of physical pain around this. And then I had to adopt a new attitude to life, which was, F it, failure doesn't exist. And instead of like pursuing this idea of I want to become a lecturer, that's my goal, I was like, what is going to bring me enough joy that I want to keep, that my mind clears in a way, and I can like keep living and not just be in pain and that kind of thing. So that's how Lucent Dreaming existed, because I'd been doing like this silly graphic novel with my friend, and we figured that we worked well together, and that kind of set up Lucent Dreaming. And I was going to take a year out, figure out what I was going to do for my PhD, and then come back, and then, and then it became really serious because Dan was like, oh, I see something in this, and now like this is my full-time life. So that's good. But anxiety was the catalyst. It took me in a different direction. And then I want to fast forward, because what happened more recently was depression as the brakes. And so I had this catalyst that was like, I felt like I was propelling in this new space. But actually things were changing for me, and I didn't necessarily realize. So this was that picture from earlier and here, and what a brilliant photo. But I was so incredibly depressed here. I didn't want to continue. But this was like peak life for me, because I was nominated for the St. David Awards in the culture category and invited to the ceremony and things. And at the same time, professionally, bearing in mind we'd only published 3 books at this point, or potentially only 2 actually, because it was March. We were named highly commended Small Press of the Year in Wales, which doesn't often happen. As in, like, highly commended things are not often given out. And again, I was in this state of depression. I'm like, I've reached peaks here, and I cannot appreciate any of it because something is wrong. So this was why. Let me explain this slideshow here. You know how like wonderfully set out and like visually interesting it is? I'm making fun of myself, because the thing is, I was thinking a lot about journeys, like what I wanted to say. I didn't really want to go into my personal like journey because I was like, that's not interesting. And then it only hit me at 5:30 yesterday. I'm sorry, Harry. I'm sorry, Larry. That I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to talk about, because my friend said there must be a journey that is meaningful to you that you feel a desire to share. And that is the journey of arriving at better mental health. And because it was a rush at 5:30 p.m, I've been working on this PowerPoint, or versions of it, for however many weeks. And then, everything was scrapped, and I was like, right, let me just do this. And I sent this to Harry at 2 a.m. in the morning. So that's why it's like, wow, just black text on white. Like, you're meant to be creative. I know. Like, I'm creative with my outfit, okay? It's like, that's enough. But yeah, that is the journey that I want to share. And how did I get there? So one of the things that has shaped all of that, actually, in conclusion, and I've left a note for you all, if I had time, and it wasn't 2 a.m. in the morning the day of this talk, there would be a collage of all of the people who have been a part of my journey. Sadly, you will just have to use your imagination. So yeah, I did find one photo of, that's me, you can't even tell, me in like a very Taylor Swift fur coat, and my friend hugging me after I'd written my first, like, Bollywood musical. I say first as if I've done others. I haven't. But it was the people, because it was the people around me who recognized something was up. So me recognizing something was up was one thing. Like, I knew I was sad and I couldn't cope. But having people around me being like, you are sad and you can't cope, was the reason I took it seriously enough to, I guess, get help or like call up the doctor and like wish for an appointment. So am I now out of the woods? Not really. Like, this is the thing. The journey is over when you decide it's over. Like, that's the thing about human life and the life of the universe, I guess. And as an editor, it's my job sometimes to look at people's stories and decide when should this story start and when should this story end. And that's all about how you talk to yourself. And my friend Bablu says a lot about how the way that you talk to yourself is who you become, who you are, and you should be bigging yourself up. So I say, am I out of the woods? Because over the last 2 years, I've had lots of help. I've been put on antidepressants, I'm in counselling, I have vitamins every day, yay, approaching 30, like, we gotta do it, vitamin D, getting me. And, you know, you do all of these things and then like maintaining all of these friendships and stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm doing chill, I'm doing fine. And I'm like, right, I can, the summer before this, I was like, I am doing so well, and I came off my antidepressants, and I was like, I'm living life. But then our first novel came out in September, and we're doing a giveaway at the end with it. But the thing about that novel is, after I published that, I had this sinking feeling, because I was like, I've done it now. Like, my ambition was to become a publisher. And this is like, for me, the idea of what being a publisher is. Publishing a novel. I've done that now. Where do I go from here? And then I had, my new existential crisis, which is like, well, do I just keep doing that now? Do I just keep doing it again? Like, what is that? And then that has shaken me to now, I guess, because now I'm thinking about my life in new ways, because I'm like, okay, am I the kind of person who can only do like one thing and then has to change? And what do I want to do from now on? And where is that guiding me? Because I think what I've noticed over time is that you have to lean into what it is you're feeling. Like, just to notice, wow, actually, I'm feeling kind of sad about this. Is this because when you get your highs, you get low? Or is this because there's something unfulfilled and I've changed as a person and I want different things? So, it's the beginning of the year. So what I've been trying to do is taking stock of where I am personally, professionally, and then collectively in community. And I want to ask you for yourself, because I always say that you're only as good as your support system. And I'm really fortunate to have a large one. And there's lots of people I know who I can reach out to who will be there for me just because they're great people or because they're close to me. So who are the people you reach out to? And who reaches out to you? And those being questions that I want you to take into this new year, because the world is really divisive and people's human rights are being questioned and taken away. And we like to think of ourselves as independents. I know it's different here. Like Creative Mornings has created this sense of community, and as the longer peeps were talking about, the energy is really empathic and open-hearted, and it's you who will be shaping culture basically. And there's a reason why people around the world want to suppress things, like they want to ban books and whatever else they're doing, because culture shifts how we relate to each other. And you are the creators of culture, so if you know who it is you reach out to and who reaches out to you, those are those relationships that you can maintain and create that wider support system. So this is where I invite you to do my kind of conclusion task, which is thinking about your community. So when I wanted to talk about journeys, the reason I was struggling so hard was because I wanted it to be useful. I wanted it to be an inspiring thing and not really about me, and I wanted you to think about collective journeys and not just your personal, professional ones, because there's nothing without community. So you've got some sticky notes, and I'd like you to answer these questions on potentially separate sticky notes for this board, so we can take a picture later. And again, just mark the moment. So what is community to you? What communities and collectives are you a part of? And this year, what one thing will you do to invest in your community? So feel free to do that. At the same time, I wanted to kind of gesture to what community means to me, which is my friendships, I think. Just having, for example, a couple of days ago, going over to my friend's house for dinner and watching a trashy TV show was me being in community, because I could do that on my own, right? I could absolutely eat cupboard pasta and watch trashy TV on my own, but there's something about just being around another person that keeps you open, and that you end up investing just by being in that same space with them. So yes, just 2 minutes to answer what is community to you, what communities and collectives are you a part of. It doesn't have to be like a big thing, it can be the smaller things, or more personal things. And this year, what one thing will you do to invest in your community? And it's really the last one that I want for the board, so please go ahead. It is now 42, so 45. Okay, I have no idea what the next slide is because now my short-term memory has expired, so it'll be a surprise. Let's see. Conclusion, thank God. Oh my God. Okay, so I think these are the things that I wanted to, these were my notes, but now they're just the conclusion point, right? Our journey, individually and collectively, is continuous. But every day or week or month or year, you arrive somewhere new. And what I want to leave you with is the idea that where you can, in times like this, please share the journey. Whether that's during or after, and continuously appreciate the destination, because you're arriving somewhere every day, week, month, or year, and I know that this is something I can do in counselling, yay counselling, but you can also do it outside of counselling. Who would have guessed? And the idea that I want you to, well, not you, it's really about me, meet myself wherever I am as much as possible, because your body is always telling you things that, sometimes it's misfiring, right? But it's also telling you something is up when something is up. Tangent. Is this a time for a tangent? I guess so. Thank you. Last year, I was feeling super, super stressed because of work, right? And I was like, right, I have lost my mind. I guess. But also, what am I going to do? I was feeling everything was tense in me. And I was like, you know what? During COVID, I used to watch what is it, Mondragon Chiropractic, and like her brother and stuff on YouTube. And I was like, these used to like put me to sleep, these like chiropractic massage videos. Let me just watch these. And then I was like, you know what? I'll learn to give myself a massage. And then in that process, I learned that all pain is a signal that something is up and we shouldn't be ignoring it. Like your body learns to ignore it. So it like what's the word? It maneuvers out of certain like situations because your body, and you just end up walking like this because you're like, I'm in pain, but like I'm okay now actually. And so I basically did a massage course last year because I realized I needed to feel it physically, to know it physically, to then appreciate it mentally. That if any part of you is in pain, painkillers is just like you killing off the pain, but it's still actually there. So actually, please go and get it checked out. Probably your tendons are misaligned and your posture's not great, and your neck muscles are strained, and actually roll your shoulders back, because do you know how little oxygen we're breathing in now because our shoulders are hunched over our desks? And then, try and belt your biggest note. Singers all know this, but then if you lean back, suddenly your lungs are at full capacity. You can breathe deeper, and actually now your blood has more oxygen, and now you actually have more energy, and it's all of this stuff. But yes, meet yourself. Whatever your body is signaling at you, take a moment to recognize what that is, and then keep reviewing it if you can. And then, what I mentioned before, which is looking back and self-reflection, is only possible when you pause and you've made time to rest. And for myself, I have loads of things going on. But what I mean is, figure out your next rest stop, because it's a long journey, is life. And kids get it, they get half terms and summer holidays and stuff, and rest is built into their day. Playtime, 2 playtimes a day, oh my God. We don't do that. I know there's reasons for that, but we should be figuring out our next rest stops, because we aren't able to reflect and look back and take stock of things and see ourselves clearly without the rest. And there's a reason why capitalism forces you out of rest, because then you can't reflect, and reflection is good. And then finally, to myself and to you all, don't be afraid to be, whatever that means. I think that was just me at 2 a.m. being I can't finish that sentence, so full stop, done. Thank you all so much. Great.